Spiritual abuse can destroy your sense of self worth, your sense of identity, and your relationship with yourself. It's like waking up one day and realizing that all the thoughts and feelings and every belief that you have, they're not your own, but they have been implanted by someone else. So, first, we will discuss how spiritual abuse can destroy your sense of identity. When you belong to a controlling environment like a family or a community where there is spiritual abuse, where God is used to abuse you, to manipulate and control you, your identity gets fused with the identity of the group. You are no more you are only a part of the group. So you think, you feel, you behave always in a way that suits the needs of the group that you belong to and not yours, even if it's harming you. The social image, the cohesion inside the group, they are more important than the personal well-beings and uh, the emotional or mental health of the people that belong to that group. This is what happens in controlling environments. So because of that, there is also difficulty in understanding what their someone's personal preferences or values are, because you are always expected to think and feel and behave like you belong, you are only a component of that, the unit building block of that group, and not an individual yourself. Individualization is always suppressed, is discouraged in such environments. So over the time, you start to feel difficulty understanding which are my personal values, my personal preferences, and what are those that I'm doing because I am expected to do that. And it becomes um, going along with the group, behaving or acting in a way that satisfies the needs of the group that you belong to. It becomes so automatic over the time that you don't know whether this is a conscious action that I'm taking, a conscious thought that is coming to me, a conscious feeling, or it's just something I'm doing it because it's coming from the subconscious because of the way I had been acting in this group for so long. So you don't know if this particular value or preference is mine, totally mine. I want to do this. It's good. It's that I actually want, or I'm just doing it because I'm afraid, or I have some sense of guilt, or I'd feel ashamed of myself if I don't do this. And the third thing is loss of individuality. As I already said, when these things happen, you gradually lose your sense of identity, because everything you do as a building block, as a unit of that group that you belong to, your spiritually abusive family or your spiritually abusive community, group, or congregation. So this is how the identity gets disrupted when you are in a spiritually harmful environment for very long. Now, sense of self-worth. People who spend time in spiritually abusive environment, they start to think over time that they are inherently flawed. Something is inherently wrong with them, because when you are going through any kind of abuse in any environment, obviously you will feel it on the inside. You will feel the pain, the distress because of that abuse. But when you are in a spiritually abusive environment, you cannot express that openly, and you can't even think about it, because the moment you have a question, moment you have a doubt, then it is being immediately followed by a thought of being sinful, of being not loyal enough, of not being serious enough in your spiritual life. That's what spiritual abuse is. Someone telling you that I am harming you because you deserve it, because God wants it to happen to you, because you lack something, you deserve it somehow. Then self-esteem in such environments is tied to obedience or to spiritual performance. You would often notice that in spiritually abusive environments, if someone is very obedient, like a yes man, and if someone is spiritually performing very well, has a very high attendance, wears the clothes that they are supposed to wear, speaks in the language, the code of conduct, everything they are following, it doesn't really matter anymore if they are actually nice people on the inside, if they are actually progressing in spiritual life or not. I am talking about toxic, harmful spiritual environments, not the healthy ones. Those who lie on the other end of the spectrum of spiritual abuse. So, uh, in such environments, you feel inherently flawed and your self-esteem is tied to obedience. When you are obeying everything, you are just being a yes man. You are made to feel good about yourself. And when you are not, for any reason, even if you do not have control over that reason, even if it's just an environmental condition that changed around you, because of that you are not able to obey, show up the way you used to, suddenly you are worthless. So you are constantly told that your self-worth equals to how much you're obeying, how much you are loyal, how much you're showing up, irrespective of your personal needs, your personal limitation, even your physical health, mental health, or anything. So this is how the self-worth gets affected. It gets harmed because gradually you learn that I do not have any unique self-worth of mine. It's something that is variable and it depends upon how much I am obeying in a given moment, how much I'm showing up for the group's needs, and how much I'm performing in a given moment. It decides my self-worth. So self-worth, which is actually a constant for everyone, becomes a variable over the time. And so the sense of self-worth gets destroyed. Now, relationship with yourself. There is a severe self-doubt because of all of the things that I have just said. So when you're always doubting yourself, then self-criticism also comes as by default. Initially, you get criticized by the people around you for not obeying, for not being serious enough, or for not, even if you are doing everything right, still you are told that you can do better. Although this phrase, you can do better, is used to motivate someone, but this has to be used very mindfully, keeping in mind the situation of the person who is performing, keeping in the context of that person's all the circumstances, their limitations, their abilities, their health, and everything else. But if you are mindless about a person's situation and you keep saying that you are not doing your best, you can do better, that can make a person doubt themselves. Maybe I am not trying enough, maybe I should. I recently had a conversation with someone who, my client, during a session said two statements which are totally opposite of each other. That person said that I think I should be doing better in my spiritual life, and in the same session that person also said that I know that I'm doing better than what I was, and I think I'm not giving myself enough credit. So this is what happens. There is severe self-doubt because when people on the outside of you keep telling you that you are not trying your best, you should be trying your best, you feel like you're running inside a hamster wheel. No matter how fast you run, how much you work hard towards running in that wheel, you're not reaching anywhere, because every time you are told that you can do better, you should be doing better, maybe you should do better. And being a human, nobody can be perfectly, consistently performing at the top all the time. If someone thinks that me or anyone else should be a top performer all the time, that's very unfair, and that can be very damaging to the self-esteem of that person. So self-criticism comes as a default when you live in an environment where you are always told that whatever you are doing, no matter how hard you're doing, we know that it's not your best. You can do better. And if there is any health issues or any other personal circumstances where you actually fall behind your regular routine, that's when this self-doubt, self-criticism, it spikes, and it can cause a lot of anxiety and stress in the person going through. So all of this, it disconnects you from your intuition, from your inner voice, from your desires, because you don't know who you are anymore. There is always so much micromanagement, so much forced guidance, so much critical evaluation of your efforts, and mindless, or sometimes it's not mindless but purposely someone telling you that you're not doing your best so that you can do more. Every human has its capacity. We have only 24 hours. We all have a set of responsibilities. We all have a level of energy. We all are given with some skills. Somebody has got some skills, somebody has got some other skills. But judging everyone on the same level, always telling them someone you're not trying your best, so over the time person starts to criticize themselves by default. I have met a lot of people who criticize themselves for no reason. I know that with the given resources, the physical, the financial resources, the mental resources, the intellectual resources, and especially the emotional resources, they are doing their best with what they have in that given moment. But still, they are in so much shame because they think that they are not trying their best. So when this happens, you gradually start to get disconnected from yourself. You, because you cannot use yourself, you cannot consult yourself before taking any decision. When you don't stay in touch with a person, you always think that they are wrong, they are not trying their best to help me, and they are dangerous. I must not take any advice from them. I must not depend on them. Gradually, you will connect with that person. Now, if that person is you yourself, if you think that my judgment, my decisions can be harmful for my spiritual life, I am not capable enough to take decisions for myself. I should always be under guidance. I should always be micromanaged. I am not trying my best because maybe I don't know what's my best. Maybe I'm not aware of my capabilities. And that's why everyone says that I'm not doing my best. So when all these things happen, you gradually start to feel that maybe I don't know who I am because I cannot be trusted. And when someone, even after realizes that they were being spiritually abused and they break free from such environments, even after that, they stay disconnected from themselves because I allowed someone to do that to me. I was the one who allowed them, so I should not be trusted. And I trusted someone who was like God to me, and they betrayed me. So who else should I be trusting? And this disconnects you from the rest of the world. So your relationship with others gets destroyed, and your relationship with yourself gets destroyed because of what happened inside. And once you break free, you are at, it's like you're angry at yourself because you let them do that to you. So it was you in the first place who placed your trust in those people who did all these things to you, destroyed your sense of identity, your sense of self-worth, and your connection with yourself. But before we end, I would like to tell you that it's possible to repair all of this damage. And it starts with the awareness of understanding that whatever happened to you was not God's desire. It was not God who harmed you. It was people who took his name to harm you. The moment this awareness comes, healing starts. And you can take help from any mental health professional. There are so many books out there in the market, blogs, articles, and content that you can refer to. If you want to know more about spiritual abuse, follow my channel and I will keep uploading video on this issue.